Group 9 Initiates, Part 3, Expanding Our Consciousness from Human to Soul to Spirit, a video by Dr. Lisa Love. Quick review. Group 9 is part of 10 evolutionary groups, and in Group 9 Part 1, the video, we gave an overview of these 10 groups and a beginning orientation to the different stages of being in Group 9. Parts 1 and 2 of Group 9 in this series also reviewed some of the main themes or tasks those in Group 9 must cover. This video continues our understanding of those themes, which briefly again are, here are ones we've already covered: cultivating a scientific mindset, engaging in synthesis, being able to synthesize or put together many different understandings of truth, the spiritual path, and reality. Knows the plan and formulas. That's the divine plan of how our planet should evolve, and is creating the formulas of how to make that happen. Is soul infused with many spiritual qualities? Is a lower samadhi adept. Samadhi is a form of meditation, and it's a very advanced form of meditation, and those in Group 9 are mastering the lower stages of samadhi. And in this video, we're going to start with soul magic and how to perfect that, higher mysticism and love, how to work with various groups because you're no longer a leader of a group. You may still be a leader, but you're no longer just a leader of a group. You're able to work with many different groups. Other things that will come up are being able to influence thinkers throughout the world and a life of sacrifice. And in this video, we're going to start with soul magic perfected. Soul magic. In Bailey's book, A Treatise on White Magic, we are told quite clearly that the first step for learning white magic, what we call soul magic, is knowing how to enter samadhi. This is no surprise, as the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali is the preliminary training for soul magic to take place. In Group 8, we tend to study what is involved in soul magic, but the actual practice happens more when we are in Group 9. Soul magic has the following goals. 1. We are attempting to become soul-infused personalities and lift ourselves onto the plane of the solar angel. 2. We are attempting to create thought forms from the soul level that can help uplift humanity into becoming soul. 3. We then start the process of building the Antakarana or rainbow bridge to become spirit and lift our consciousness up into the spiritual triad and onto the Buddhic plane. Then the solar angel who resides on the Buddhic plane can help us become what we might call the solar angel infused personality. Knowledge of the chakras. Part of soul magic also includes learning about the chakras. 100 years ago, when the Bailey books came out, the chakras were not very well known, and the word Kundalini was known only to a very few. Today, information on the chakras and Kundalini seem to be everywhere. The problem is a great deal of the information in the public is now diluted and even distorted. Still, knowledge of the chakras and Kundalini is essential for those in Groups 6, 7, and 8, so long as they are careful to get accurate information. As most people now know, the purpose of learning about Kundalini and the chakras is so that at some point we can move the energy up the spine to awaken the third eye. How to do this is described in a veiled way in Rule 6 of A Treatise on White Magic. Note: for more information on Bailey's instructions of both opening and stabilizing the opening of the third eye, see the videos on Rule 6 in the Soul to Spirit Patreon channel. That's Rule 6 of the Soul Magic series. Kriya and Kundalini Yoga. Working on the chakras and Kundalini are both part of the practices of Kriya and Kundalini Yoga that help purify the chakras so we can enter the higher stages of samadhi more readily. Kriya Yoga is mentioned in Bailey's book, The Light of the Soul, though no specific instructions are given. Still, for those who have learned Kriya Yoga from other traditions, such as in Self-Realization Fellowship, they can spot the references to Kriya Yoga techniques and the symbolism within her books, Treatise in White Magic, and also in Rays and Initiations. Kundalini Yoga is mentioned in the Bailey books, only it is called Laya Yoga in her writings. Of course, purification of the chakras can happen naturally through right living and by following the yamas and niyamas, or do's and don'ts, of moral living talked about in the Yoga Sutras, which is what the Bailey books suggest we practice first. Bailey is also known to discourage focusing on the chakras in some books while giving instructions to work on them in her discipleship in the New Age books, and to a lesser extent in both the Treatise in White Magic and her book Light on the Soul. The contradiction is resolved if we see that she is essentially telling us to know what we are doing before we try these practices. Note, see the videos on Soul Magic, Rule 14, Raising the Kundalini, and Problems with Awakening in the Soul to Spirit Patreon channel to learn more. Next, we have a focus on higher mysticism and love. Lower mysticism. With all the emphasis on intellect, because by group 9 we're supposed to have a massive intellect, we're told, it may be surprising to find the words higher mysticism associated with those in group 9. Higher mysticism is distinguished from lower mysticism in the book Letters on Occult Meditation by Bailey. Lower mystics, we are told, tend to be, quote, dreamy, visionary, impractical, emotional, and lacking that quality of mind that we call discrimination. And that's page 150 of Letters on Occult Meditation. And to remedy these tendencies, we are told the lower kind of mystic must learn the value of forms. That's forms in the outer world, whether it's knowing how to find a home and live in it, or be practical in the outer world, or it's forms in meditation, so that you know in a scientific way that if I do this and that, I will achieve this type of thing in a predictable and reliable way. 2, they must work at developing the factual nature of the mental body. Remember, it's scientific. We're dealing with factual things where we can reliably, repeatably predict results here, either in our inner realm experiences or in working in the outer world. And we learn to intelligently study both the microcosm and the macrocosm. The occultist is learning to understand the outer manifest world, whether we're talking about atoms or cosmos, and the mystic is learning to understand the inner manifest worlds. But the higher mysticism is understanding those inner manifest worlds not in a dreamy, visionary, impractical, emotional way, lacking discrimination or lacking the ability to repeat and get results even in the inner worlds here. So in this way, if we do 1, 2, and 3, the lower mystic does not jump over the intellect but cultivates it, helping to make the shift from the plane of the lower mind into the plane of the solar angel. Those are the 2 different levels of the mental plane that's divided into the plane of the solar angel on top, the plane of the lower mind on bottom. Higher mysticism. When we engage in the practices of Raja Yoga, which comes from the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali, Kriya Yoga, and Kundalini Yoga, mystical experiences can often occur, especially the experience of unity consciousness or the non-dual realization of the self. As lower mystics, we often chase after these spiritual or altered state experiences because they get us high or make us feel important because we have had them, which can become a dangerous sidetrack, which is something the Yoga Sutras warn about. As a higher mystic, experiences may happen, but we don't chase after them. Rather, they are a byproduct of spiritual practice. Still, when they happen, they help us go beyond having only a dry, intellectual understanding of the divine, like talking about an orange but never tasting it. Instead of talking about something, we experience it. With higher mysticism, we also add back in mystical qualities of love, higher devotion, and reverence for the divine. But we do so out of more intelligent awareness and a sense of humility, awe, and appreciation for the mystery of life. In this way, more love enters our minds, combined with greater wisdom, respect, and understanding for all of life around us. Joy from knowing the self. The more we recognize that love of the divine, that we're that ocean of love, not just the drop, but the ocean of love, the more joy we feel. This joy is not happiness. Happiness is really the personality being happy if it gets its way in the world and unhappy if it does not. This joy comes about in a different way, by increasingly knowing who we are as the self. First as soul and then as spirit. I am that I am. It is sometimes called, or unity consciousness. Each unification with soul and then spirit allows us to draw from a deeper reservoir of that joy. So regardless of outer events in the world, we experience a deep inner calm and are able to approach outer events in the world with a growing capacity for equanimity. So at first, we think we're the drop. Then we may think we're the river. Then we may think we're the ocean. Then we may think we are space. And then a cosmos. And then infinity. And when we're in touch with that, you can understand why there's so much joy. Because no matter what happens out there in the world, we know who we are. There's an infinite amount of abundance, of love, of peace. Though arriving at unity consciousness is often seen as the ultimate state in many spiritual traditions, in the Bailey teachings we go through a number of unifications, meaning we need to be cautious about assuming we have obtained the ultimate enlightenment just because we've had one experience of non-dual or unity consciousness. There are many enlightenments or initiations or expansions of consciousness in the Bailey teachings, and if you've been following these videos, you already know this. Non-dual dualism. Before we reach group 9, we most likely have already experienced some sort of unity consciousness. After all, group 9 is going through the third initiation or third such expansion of consciousness. When we have an experience of non-dual consciousness, ironically, we may put others down who we view as engaging in dualism practices like mystics are. Ironically, this non-dualism is just another form of dualism, where we are saying, I am non-dual, and that mystic over there is not. Some are now calling themselves non-dual dualists to try to cope with this paradox of the unmanifest and manifest worlds. The unmanifest world is like that infinite ocean I was talking about. The manifest world is a number of infinite drops. The secret is for the drop, the individual manifested human, to realize the infinite ocean it is in essence, while at the same time perfecting that drop, that it is an expression of that ocean in this time and space. And here is where higher mysticism comes into play, where we are both infinite and finite, and the head and the heart in this realization are finally wed together. Want to see the full video? There is much more to see. Watch it on our Patreon channel. Join our Soul to Spirit community and access teachings and training. Nearly 300 videos on spiritual topics are available. Some of our video categories are featured here. Communicate with others on a spiritual journey. Note, chat, comments, and photo are hidden to protect member confidentiality in this video. Receive ebooks and charts that explain how to evolve spiritually. Completed books are above. The books below are in the process of being finished. Get inspirational merchandise, original artwork, and more. Join for free or subscribe. You can join us at www.patreon.com/soul2spirit. And if you're watching this on YouTube, subscribe, like, comment, share, hit the bell for alerts, and thanks for watching.